Hi there. Have you ever been in the middle of a video, making a video with your cell phone, and then someone calls you? Well, that just happened to me. Oh man. So here goes take two. All right, welcome back everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Today I just wanted to make a short video. I gotta stop saying that, don't I? As you know, I've been trying to get into the white positive sphere, the white sympathetic sphere, the white positive community. Mostly it's online, obviously, but I have met quite a few white positive folks in both white and non-white in my everyday personal life, and so that's always encouraging when you do meet people like that. Now, I'm not advanced in this. I'm not advanced with the practice of Go Free, the method of argumentation, but I can grasp the basics. I think I have them down pretty well, and I'm just going to have to finish it and really pour into that book, the Go Free book by Jason Kuna over at No White Guilt. NoWhiteGuilt.org is his website. He's also available on YouTube, and he's all over social media. You can find him at least on Twitter, Gab, and I'm sure a host of others that I haven't heard about. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk about an idea that I have called the White Wellbeing Minute. And so I'm thinking that I might be making some short videos here in the near future and just posting one a day or maybe 2 or 3 a week, something like that. So if you guys decide you want to leave a comment in the comment section after you've seen a couple of my videos and help me decide whether or not to put that out there on my channel, I would certainly appreciate it. But for today, I want to talk about an interaction I had with someone on Facebook that I met about a week ago. I noticed that they were politically active in Wisconsin, I believe, and they were trying to get some attention drawn towards this ethics complaint against an anti-white senator there. And so, naturally, we connected on Facebook, and I wished her all the best of luck. I introduced her, asked her if she was familiar with Jason Kuna's work at NoWhiteGuilt.org. She said, "Yeah, but I don't have time to watch, those streams." I said, "Yeah, I get it. They are really long." Now, but I told her about No White Guilt Clips. Now, Clips does a fantastic job of taking the highlights off these streams and condensing them so that you get the key points of the entire stream in a much shorter version than you would if you were to watch Jason's stream start to finish. So she didn't seem to have much interest in that. She was much more interested in her efforts. And so, of course, knowing that you have to introduce people slowly over time to these concepts, then I backed off and said, "Oh, great, continue with your work. And, all the best to you." Well, today she posted a question that I felt compelled to respond to. And I probably didn't do it in the most constructive manner, but the reason I'm talking about it in the video today is because I want to illustrate something that I think is kind of important that a lot of people get wrapped up in unwittingly. Now, her question was this. Now, after I tell you what the question was, I'm going to pause for a minute just to give you time to let the question sink in. And what I want you to pay attention to is your gut reaction to the question. Don't analyze it consciously. Just pay attention to your gut reaction for just a moment. Here's the question. Why were slaves not allowed to learn to read? Have you had enough time to assess that gut reaction? I think so. Now, I came back and I responded to this woman, and I said, well, I'm not aware that that was the case anywhere in Western civilization. Can you point me to an example where that was the case? And she pointed me to Haiti. And I said, well, is Haiti considered part of Western civilization? Because honestly, I don't know. As far as I can tell, I mean, from what I've read, from what I remember, Haiti, I believe, was conquered by the French. I could be wrong about that. In which case, I suppose you could argue that that makes Haiti part of Western civilization. And I know that the United States occupied it for a brief period of time. Again, I'm not sure, like 20, 30 years, something like that, at some point in our history. But we don't occupy it anymore, as far as I know. Now, to get back to the original point, she came back to me with the response of, I just posted that as a trivia question. It wasn't supposed to be politicized. Really? A question like that, and you don't expect it to be politicized? So I came back and I said, for trivia, huh? I said, if you're going to put a question like that out there and not expect it to be politicized, then what else are you doing other than attacking Westernkind? Now, I got a response back, but before I could read it, I believe she blocked me because I never could get to the response. And I don't see any more of her posts, which is fine with me. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. But the purpose of today's video is to alert you to these types of questions. Now that question, why were slaves not allowed to learn to read? Obviously, that's a loaded question, and there's only one purpose for it. It has zero value other than attacking white people, demonizing them for being insufferably and irredeemably evil throughout all time, for eternity. That's the only value such a question has. Now, as Jason Kuna says in some of his videos, he doesn't look in the rear view mirror, right? He's not looking in the rear view mirror. Why? Because anti-whiteism is a problem in the here and now. It's been a problem for a long time, for my entire life. And I've noticed it big time. I just didn't have the lexicon that the go-free method of argumentation gives you in order to defeat anti-whiteism. But I think this little back and forth exercise with this person probably dealt a defeating blow to whatever argument they may or may not have had, because they haven't come back. And I've noticed that once you do this to trolls, I'm not saying she was a troll, but to those who obviously are trolls, they usually leave and they don't come back. It's like that little magic spell that the Gollum utters in The Lord of the Rings. Leave and never come back, right? Well, it works. Now, would I have preferred to persuade her to get her to see how that type of question does absolutely no good for us in the here and now, for our people in the here and now? Obviously, yes. So hopefully at some point in the future, this person can return to some of the concepts presented in the go-free method of argumentation and return to the white positive community with a different outlook. Because let me tell you, I've discovered, because I've experienced it, when you're focused, as Jason Kuna over at NoWhiteGuilt.org says, on the warts on the noses of other races, then you're not focused with love for our people and the desire to stop the victimization of white people in Western civilization. No, instead you're focused on, as he calls them, the jaywalkers, the Hebes, as I have tended to call them in the past. But since learning about the go-free method and since being introduced to some of the concepts, I realize the error of my ways, of my previous methods of thinking, because I didn't have the lexicon. I didn't have the method of argumentation that defeated anti-whiteism. All I could do, I felt, was beat my head against a brick wall and hope that my head was harder than the bricks. Well, it's not. But I'm here to tell you that this method of argumentation, the go-free method, is what works. And I've seen it personally work time and time again in the few months, like the 6 months since I've been introduced to these concepts and to the white well-being community. So I wish this lady all the best, but I want my audience to be able to see clearly how such a question does nothing but engage people in circular historical arguments where they can go over the minutiae and the details of the history and attribute motivations, etc. It's all looking in that rear view mirror, and it does absolutely nothing for stopping the victimization of white people, of Westernkind, in the here and now. And so I'm hoping that my response to her was so vastly different from anyone else's response to her. Everyone else, I suspect, would have engaged in speculation about why the slaves were not allowed to learn to read. I mean, come on. If that's not a politicized question, if you put that question out there and expect it not to be politicized, there's only one reason you're doing it. It's to attack and demonize white people. There's no other purpose for it. It has zero value other than that. So be aware of that and be careful when you pose your own questions. If you want to get into a tit for tat with people, if you want to get into a fight with people, that's a good way to do it. But you know what? It turns genuine white positive people off. It turns them off like that because they don't want to focus on the warts on the noses of other races. They are genuinely in love with our people, and they do want to see the end to the victimization of Westernkind. And so therefore, their outlook is such that they don't want to talk about a certain mustachioed painter with a funny salute. They don't want to talk about another race of people that seem to have been much, much better at us at collectively serving, defending, and helping their own people than our people are. Kanye West. That's the only other name you need to know right now. Look what happened to him, right? As long as you are focused with love for our people, your thoughts and your ideas are going to be far more constructive than coming up with a stupid question such as, why were the slaves not allowed to learn to read? Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you come back for another video. Adios.